With Season 9 just finishing up, I decided that it would be the perfect time to rank all the Ninjago seasons. Hey guys, Hfmasters here, and today I'll be ranking all the Ninjago seasons. At number 11 we have Day of the Departed. I think this doesn't come as a surprise to anyone. I personally think the biggest issue is how short it is. There is simply too much going on. How are you supposed to bring back a ton of different villains and turn Cole back into a mortal without making it feel rushed? If the producers would have had enough time to create an entire season, it would have the potential to be a really good season, with each of the ninja fighting their own different villain. Plus, we would have multiple episodes with Cole and Sensei Yang, and they could have been developed more. The second season of Ninjago is probably the most boring season to watch. The producers really wanted to stick to this 13 episode per season gimmick thing, which they dropped literally in the next season. So the only important events that happened in the first half was the creation and destruction of the mega weapon and Lloyd turning older. However, the second half is actually really good. We get to see the Stone Army in action, we get to see the Overlord return, and of course we have a lot of awesome fights. Of course, the standout being the final battle between Lloyd and the Overlord. This season also does bring in some new characters like Dareth and Misako, but the first half really just kills the season. At number 9 we have the pilot season. The pilot season was short, yet unlike Day of the Departed, it didn't really feel rushed. They were able to spend time on each major significant plot point. They also did a good job at setting up future events, such as Garmadon getting the power to possess all 4 golden weapons. However, the season wasn't perfect. One of my biggest complaints is some of the strange voice acting, and while it was good, it was just too short to compete with some of the other seasons on this list. Season 1 is an okay season. We get to see the ninja unlock their true potential, learn more about the golden weapons and what they can do, and of course we get to meet the Serpentine and Lloyd for the first time. Sadly, the Serpentine aren't developed that much with the exception of Scales and Pythor. There's also too much focus on smaller, less significant things like who is the Green Ninja and Samurai X. Also, I must admit, Lloyd is really annoying in this season. However, even then I must admit the season final was great, with an epic confrontation against the Great Devourer. However, that isn't enough to keep it near the bottom of our list. For as much as I hate Chen, I must admit that Season 4 is a pretty okay-ish season. Let me get this out of the way. Chen is a garbage character who doesn't do anything. If you don't believe me, just watch my Basically Chen video, it will completely clarify everything. To be honest, Klaus isn't really good either, and he's just really wasted. This season does have its strong points though. We have the return of Zane and the introduction of the Elemental Masters, and of course the villains of the year, Kapow and Chop. We also get to learn a lot more about Ninjago's past, especially the Serpentine Wars. There's also a lot of suspense with the tournament and the stealing of power, however it's literally pointless as they just use Skylar, who can absorb every power to just complete their plan. They literally didn't need that tournament part, which is kind of a shame. Overall though, the season was okay, which is why it lands a spot near the middle of our list. At number 6 we have Season 7. Originally when I watched this season, I quite enjoyed it. Sadly over time it hasn't really aged well. Crux and Acronix were good villains and had a great plan, however they really had a lame defeat. And it really just turns them into average villains. Another part I don't like is the Time Twins' integration into the past. They supposedly were around for the Serpentine Wars, yet we never had seen them before. Plus if they were, why not reverse every battle so they could win them? It seems like they were just kind of thrown in. The season, however, does have some strong points, like Kai and Nia finally reuniting with their parents, which was built up for a really, really long time. It also does a good job at keeping suspense, and none of the episodes feel like they are filler. Moving on to the better half, we have Season 6, the start of the best seasons Ninjago has to offer. Notakon is my personal favorite villain, and he is quite a cunning and clever villain. I think that he tricks you into defeating yourself is actually a really nice gimmick. As the season goes on, Things just get more and more intense until eventually it's just Jay on his own. Sadly, this season, while I really like it, has one major flaw. Jay's final wish, which makes it so the events of the season are reversed like they never happened, which just kinda makes the whole season pointless. However, even with that little kinda major setback, I think the season is pretty good. Season 5 is again a very good season. Moro is a very strong character, and they do a really good job exploring and developing him throughout the season. The ninja also all have their own troubles, as with Lloyd possessed they no longer have their powers. They also do a good job introducing Airjitsu and making it useful throughout the season, even though it gets dropped quickly after. Lastly, the introduction of Nia helps develop her character, however it does lead to some questions, like how is she able to control water when Lloyd is possessed? Honestly, this season could technically be considered a Nia season, because she is developed really well, and at the end, she actually unlocks her true potential and is able to defeat Moro and the Preeminent. Moving into our top 3, we have Season 9. Now this season I quite enjoyed for trying many new things, like telling 2 stories at once. However, the season does have its issues. It does feel like one side of the story is kind of filler in some episodes compared to what's happening in the other realm. The season also took an extremely violent turn, killing at least 4 characters. I'm going to try to remain spoiler free on the final, however I do wish it would have been a little bit longer, maybe spanning on 2 episodes. I also must say they did a good job to continue developing the Sons of Garmadon, and they also did a good job with Iron Baron and Faith. Lastly, this season is flawed by the fact that it needs Season 8, however, Season 8 does not need Season 9. You can't really jump into this season without being somewhat confused. Overall, it's a good season, but some parts did feel a little bit slow. Season 3, in my opinion, has the perfect length of episodes. Even though 8 may seem a little bit short, since there's only 8, there's no time to have any filler nonsense in the episodes. We get to go right into the action, which is nice. The season also has a really great final, with the Overlord coming back and Zane sacrificing himself to save the city. Sadly, the effect of the final is just instantly defeated because Zane just rebuilds himself right away. It could have been more powerful if they waited a little bit. Overall though, the season was quite good. For as much flack as I give the sets, the season did not disappoint. Number 1, we have Sons of Garmadon. The season, while overusing cliffhangers, does have a few good ones. This is also the only season where the villain actually prevails. The Sons of Garmadon resurrect Garmadon and Garmadon takes over Ninjago, which was a twist I was not expecting. The only bad part about this whole season, in my opinion, is one of the episodes where they introduce Harumi's backstory, and I think in the same episode they also have this stupid crab scene, which is like, I think it starts at the 13-minute mark, and the only reason why they had this fight was because they needed to get to 22 minutes. It's just such a filler thing. They have the Sons of Garmadon and Ninja fighting each other, even though right before they like hated each other. It's just so filler. That's probably the only bad part about the whole season though. Overall, I really like this season, and that's why it tops our list. Hope you all enjoyed this video, and feel free to leave your own list in the comment section below. Until next time, this is Hfmasters saying goodbye.